Are your Final Cut Pro animations jerky? As you know, Final Cut Pro can animate objects by creating keyframes. So why would you use motion? That's because Final Cut Pro's animations can appear a little bit jerky, especially when they start with a boost and then end abruptly. The same animations are much smoother and much more natural when created in motion. I'll show you the basics for animation in motion, both for text and for images. And if you want to, you can improve Final Cut Pro's keyframes. Click at the eye above for a video on how to simulate virtual ease in and ease out in Final Cut Pro. My name's Bruce, and if we've met before, welcome back. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, and press the bell so I can make more videos like this for you. The objective of this lesson is to have the image of a logo smoothly grow in size while the outer ring rotates, even though the center ring does not rotate, but does increase in size with the outer ring. Then I'll add some text that enters from the side and has a glow and a scale through effect. First, I'll show you how the image is animated with keyframes in Final Cut Pro, and then how much smooth the action is when motion is used. Import the two logo images, empty center and center only. And the images can come from my website, that's the motion animation tutorial. The link is in the description below for download. Add the empty center image to the timeline and drag the other center only above it. Resize the center only image to fit exactly in the center. Select the empty center image and click the keyframe button. Move the playhead to the end of the clip in the timeline, and in the inspector move the rotation for a couple of turns. Select the two images and create a compound clip. Set the playhead at the beginning, and in the inspector select Scale All. Click a keyframe and reduce to 0. Move the playhead to the end of the clip, increase Scale All. Now let's play that. It jumps into the zoom and then stops abruptly. When you do it in motion, you'll see how much smoother the start is and how the zoom slightly bounces at the end to give a much more realistic feel. And this is how it looks in motion. Let's create that same animation in motion now. I'll use a title for this exercise and turn off text and background for now. That's unticking both of them. They're inside a group. To avoid confusion later, let's name that group text group. You'll see the value of having separate groups later. And you'll also understand how important it is to name groups as you go. It means you can keep up with where your objects are located. Think of groups as similar to compound clips in Final Cut Pro, but they're able to have more actions added to them. Make sure the text group is highlighted before adding a new group. Create the new group from the Object menu, and we'll call it Logo Group. And as you'll see, it's important to keep the logo group separate from the text group. If you'd had the text or the title selected in the sidebar when you created the new group, that new group would have been added inside the text group. But if you do this accidentally, you can move it out of the text group. I'll show you. Select the new group and drag it above text group. You'll see a blue bar appear. Drop it here. I'll delete that latest group. Now let's go back to the logo group. Make sure it's selected. Import the two images, empty center and center only. As I said before, they're available from my website. The link is in the description. Make sure the playhead is at the beginning of the timeline. Select the logo group, as the next action is intended to affect the contents of the whole group. That's both images. Select Properties in the inspector. Click the chevron to the right of Scale and select Add Parameter. Select Overshoot. It'll drop in just under the group name. Select the overshoot in the sidebar, and since the image is currently at 100%, I need to set the start value to -100, which will make it small to start. Now play that. Notice the smooth start and the nice bounce at the end. Set the end value to the size you want the logo to grow to by adjusting the end value. You can affect the amount of bounce at the end with the wrap duration. Next, I'll rotate that outer ring. Return the playhead to the beginning by pressing the Home key on an extended keyboard or FN left arrow on a standard keyboard. Select the empty center image, select Properties, set a keyframe to the right of rotation. Move the playhead to where you want to stop the rotation and enter 180. That'll rotate it clockwise or anti-clockwise by entering -180. Next we'll add a text animation.
As you can see, there's many different things you can do with text and many different behaviours, and I think this warrants an extra video. So watch out for a future video that will show you what some of these other text options will do.
I'm going to add a glow through effect. First, to have the text enter from the right side and then scale and glow through from the left. Turn on with a tick the type text. Make sure it's highlighted and select the text tab in the inspector and at the bottom type DIY video tutorial. And it's a good idea to have that also shown in the sidebar so you know what text you're selecting later. Copy the DIY video tutorial and paste it where you see type text here. Select the font. I've selected Avanar, medium oblique 136. Select the center alignment in the inspector and drag in the viewer until the yellow center line shows under the logo. To enter from the right, select Behaviors, Basic Motion, Motion Path. In the inspector, select Behaviors and change the direction to Reverse. And you can have that appear on screen quicker by shortening the effect in the timeline, dragging from the right, or placing the playhead where you want it to end and pressing the O key. Now I'll add the scale in effect from Behaviors and have the start just after the text starts to slide in from the right, but before it's completely seen on screen. Make sure the text is still selected in the sidebar. From Behaviors, select Text Basic, slide in. I'll have that start partway through the motion path by dragging a little to the right. Next, to add the glow effect, make sure the text is selected in the sidebar. From Behaviors, Text Highlighter, Glow Through. Start and end this at the same length as the scale effect. Now to change the colour of the glow, select Glow Through in the sidebar, and then in the inspector, select Text and then Appearance. Tick Glow and click the eyedropper and select the blue of the logo. In order to be able to control the glow in the scale in Final Cut, I'll publish both of these. Select the text in the sidebar and then in the inspector, select Behaviors, and it shows all of the behaviors that you've added to date. To the right of Behaviors, click the downward chevron and select Publish, and do the same for Glow Through. There are more adjustments you can make to the motion path that affect the look of the slide-in. Select the Speed option, and I like the Natural option. This is the slide-in with the default constant, and now with Natural selected. You can try out the other options for yourself. Now to save this, select the File menu, Save and give it a name. I've saved mine to my Favourites category. And if you want to make your own Favourites category, click the eye above for a video that shows you how to do that. Now in Final Cut Pro, drag the title into your timeline from the favorites. Play it. And see the selections in the inspector. The words can be changed as with the fonts, even though you didn't specifically publish them when you were in Motion. I'll show you why in Motion. And to open the effect in Motion from Final Cut, right-click on the effect in their browser and select Open in Motion. In the Motion Inspector, all text options under the Format tab are published by default unless you turn it off at the bottom, editable in FCP. If you make any changes to an effect while it's open in Motion, all you need to do is save in the File menu and the effect is updated in Final Cut Pro. Now let's see the two versions compared. First from Final Cut Pro's built-in keyframes. And second, from Motion's behaviours. As you see, Motion's a great support tool for Final Cut, and you don't need to be an animation expert to get some real results. I hope you found this information useful. Please like, subscribe, and press the bell so I can make some further videos for you.